Welcome back to the Cosasverdes channel, where we cover Bitcoin and altcoin price analysis. I'm going to show you the power of the dark side. So Darth Vader, I can't do his accent very well, but this triangle here, I drew way back here, anticipating price to actually hit the bottom of it and then come to the top. But price has, if you go down to the 5 minute, it has perfectly grazed and come down to what's being deemed as a flash crash by some YouTubers. I'm going to tell you why that's absolutely not what's happening. This is not a flash crash. By all and any means, this is not bearish. But the main idea here, so new viewers, I want to show you how I did this so you can do it too. So stay tuned. Let's jump into it. Ready? Let's go. All right, so during a VIP call that I had, and I timestamped these for my VIP folks, so this was back in March 20th, and here is the exact moment I drew the damn thing, and I've been using it in my private community analyses for, since this time, because it stayed in the damn triangle the whole time. So here's the exact moment that I began drawing it. Yeah, just literally looking at this triangle, making it exceptionally simple. And that was the moment I drew it.
Cool.
And during this video, I did drag it around a little bit, but since this video, I have not touched the dang thing. I haven't even wiggled it a little bit. So not even a tiny bit. And I want to show you how and why I did this. And if we even go to the 15 minute here, I mean, just look at that. So why did I draw that there? And what tool did I use to do it? Is the question. So the general rule of thumb is, if you have a reason to think that a lower high is possible, and I'm going to give you the exact context of why I did it in this situation, but that you can do it for any of the following. If you have any reason to feel that an uptrend might reverse or start going sideways and doing something different, you need to have a first lower high. That is a requirement of going sideways or down after a long uptrend, right? And for whatever reason, the way crypto works is, it's almost always the same angle. You just gotta eyeball it. Yes, can you squeeze your chart down a little bit like this and it makes it goofy? Yes, but if you go right click reset chart on the reset chart, it's almost always like at this angle or that angle, something like that. And all I did was eyeball it. When price was way back here on March 20th, this candle right here is the March 21st candle, but I did it on my March 20th because the 21st candle began at 7 p.m. New York, and I recorded that video. It was a later night chat, and so that the 21st candle had just begun, and I drew that just eyeballing with a projector tool. So you don't know what the bottom line is, but usually if you see price and you have a reason to feel that, hey, like this might be a top and it might begin going sideways or down, I use what is called the projector tool. And you can't see all the way over the side of my dang screen, can you? There we go. So the projector tool is over on this side of the screen, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Projection. It's called projection. And if you want, you can right click and put a star, and it shows up on a toolbar like this that you can hide down below. On a phone, not very convenient. So these are all the things that I've starred. Projector tool. And so whenever you have a feeling, like even if it's not probable, you just want to know, okay, if it gets stuck in a lower high and something new is going to happen, it can't go above roughly that angle there. And that's it. That's all I did. Now, where did the bottom line come from? That's a little bit different and how I completed the triangle. But the real value is, like I promise you, just if your chart is not squeezed one way or this way, it's on the reset chart, and you do a roughly 45-degree angle, just get a habit. And if you're not comfortable, you can just look at previous price. Where did trend reverse? And at what angle did it? So here's one right here, right? So if we just go, this looks like a little bit steeper of an angle. That's a little bit steeper, 45, so I would have gone something like that. And if we go here, and I extend it, watch, I just straight up extend it. Look, boom, the lower high hit it again. Like, it's just what happens. So this right here, when was this? March 2022 was the first lower high to the 69K top. It's the exact same angle. Like it's just almost always the same angle. Now you see how it's not a 45-degree angle? Because I'm shrinking the chart. So right click, reset chart, boom. Oh, now it's way over that way. I lost it. And so that's all I did. And the result of it is kaboom. And so why is this important? Now we're going to get into, in this moment, why is it important to you as a new viewer? The private community for which I'm streaming right now, during the beginning of my private live streams for my YouTube community, I often have the habit of, this is when I make my YouTube content, just a heads up. But, so my private community is well aware of this. And this is my first free YouTube video, because I'm giving you the information a few weeks later. But it's still highly relevant. And that's why this line right now, you can use it in the future, always and forever, even on small, tiny time frames. Or big time frames, doesn't matter. But here's why it's so important for you and your altcoins and what you're doing right now. I'm going to explain it so simply. It's going to be so simple. And all you need is that line to tell what is probably going to happen. So you can't ever know what will happen, but you know when your probabilities flip. When do I have it better than a 50-50? When is it better than flipping a coin? When are my odds, like, as long as I roll a die, a singular die, if I win, if I throw it 1 through 4, like those odds, right? And I'm getting ready to show you that with this line so you can feel more comfortable with your general game plan and what you're doing with your Pokemon cards only. This is not financial advice. With your Pokemon card trading, definitely Pokemon card trading. All right, so I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and here is what is at stake. It's a lot. Okay, so this is what I call my super macro mega channel line, or channel of Bitcoin. Covers all of Bitcoin price history. I'm on the weekly chart. Goes back to when Bitcoin was about $1. So see how this says $2 right here? So the bottom of this channel was formed when Bitcoin was around $2. And the current line that it's battling, the 1/4, so this is the half, 3/4, top, bottom, half, quarter, 3/4. The 1/4 line was developed when Bitcoin was ranging around $7 to $13 before its first ever bull run. And Bitcoin did not touch it again for 3,500 days. And it went below it and then got rejected from it. So here's the significance. Super macro mega. This line was developed when Bitcoin was $7. Hello. It went below it, got rejected in October of 2022, rejected in January of February. That makes a lot of sense. January and February of 2023, rejected again April 2023, a near rejection in July of 2023, a rejection from the 48K push-up that we had that I thought was going to be the local top because it just kept bumping its head on this line. And we've gotten above it, and now the bottom of that line is the bottom of the triangle. So really, there's a little bit more consequence if it goes to the downside. Or no, there's more potential consequence if it breaks to the downside. So I would suggest, if you want to go to something like the 4-hour chart on your Bitcoin and try to make it look like this, okay, it's going to be hard to get this line exact, but just try to make it close. And then you can extend that line left and right. So if you take a line like this on your chart and you right click it, it's a little bit of TradingView work too. And I have a tutorial for my private community on how to set up a chart and the most common ways that you'd want to do that if you're interested in the community for something to that effect. But you can go settings and style and extend left. You can just check those. And then you have roughly the same line I have without all the, super fancy stuff. All right, now why is this important? Okay, so I think I just showed you why that bottom line is important, right? But why is that top line important? Okay, so here's what's at stake. There are 4 general things that are most likely to happen with Bitcoin throughout 2024 and 2025. All right, the first, but not most likely, the first one I'm going to mention, it's not the most likely, is a triple top. 64K, 69K, 72K. And then it just ranges for the rest of this year. And then 2025, like then the bull market maintains that 4-year cycle. Because the bull run is a year early if it's happening now. Like it would be the first time ever. All right? Because Bitcoin has never passed its previous all-time high this fast per the 4-year cycle, not once. So we're early. This is an early bull market, and if it's an early bull market, it'll probably be a shorter way. It'll be over early too. So triple top is actually not that bad because you'll have more time to DCA and get more altcoins. You'll have until next year. You'll get them a much deeper discounted price than what they are now and before the glory of next year. That's personally what I want to happen, but it's not the most probable. It is not the most probable. It is in the top 3 most probable things to happen throughout this year. But, so if that is to happen, setting up for another 4-year cycle bull run in 2025. So 2017, 2021, 2025, not 2024. Then it's going to stay under that line. That's just how simple it is. It won't go above it. If it's going to be a triple top, it's not going above it. That's one of 4 most likely things to happen throughout 2024 and 2025. Second, but not necessarily the most likely, but it's definitely more likely than what I just said, is that we're in an early bull market. And the reason I say that is because I think it is the most likely. Is it 50% likely? No. I think if any, out of all the other single possibilities, let's say it's only 25% likely. No other one scenario is more than 25% likely, if that makes sense. So it's not probable, it's just more likely than any other one scenario. If you go to the weekly RSI on Bitcoin, just straight normal RSI, even though this has control zones, but every time the weekly has gotten up here, it's a bull market. It'll never touch this line outside of a bull market, ever. On the weekly, that's the 80 line. Never once. And usually when it hits it, it has 200 days left. Or no, is it 200? Maybe not 200. Hold on. Here was the high. Here was the ultimate high, the 64K top. See that? When did it cross the 80 line? Here. So look. Boom. It kept going up for 150 days. New highs for 150 days. And then it came up and did the 69K top exactly here. So this green zone means that as long as you're on the 4-hour or above time frame, if you get into that green zone, that is a new higher high. Even if it's a lower high, it doesn't matter. If you make any type of high, a lower high or a higher high in this green zone, so here is a higher high in price, here's a higher high, higher high, higher high, because it peaked its head in the green zone. Let me zoom way in so you can see that. And this was the 64K top. Watch. That is why it is by far the most likely situation to be happening is an early bull market. There you go. 64K top, right on that lower high in the green zone. 69K top was when it fell out and it barely peeked its head. See how that's the 69K top. So technically it had new highs from when it hit the 80 line for a year, almost a year. That's like 10 and a half months. And so it hit the 80 mark. Look, it hit it again. All right, this is easier like this. Like I'm a weatherman. Look, boom. The weather forecast is over 100 days of new highs. That's just how Bitcoin's always operated. So it is by far the most likely. Now, why is it not probable? Because Bitcoin's been doing new things, breaking all sorts of rules, although all of them have been bullish so far. But regardless of, they've all been bullish. Like Bitcoin has been breaking rules all in bullish fashions, but it's just a matter of time till it breaks rules to the downside. So it might not have to live up here for 150 days, although historically it always has. Always has. You cannot come straight down, even if the daily, so this is the weekly, if the daily hits the 80 line, that means you're quote unquote guaranteed. It's 100% previous price action, 100% of it, when the daily hits an 80, Bitcoin cannot go straight up and straight down. It can go straight up and straight down if Bitcoin did something like this, Bitcoin could pump, then do a Bart Simpson pattern, which means straight up, straight down. But if the daily or above, daily time frame, or a higher time frame hits the 80 line, it's never once looking left. It's not a 0% chance, but 0 times has it ever done that. So, but Bitcoin has been doing new things, and it's just moving new. So it could break that general rule, which is why I'm not saying it's probable, but it is the most likely. Like the most likely situation is unfortunate that we could be we're in an early bull market. I don't want that to happen. It's not a 50% probable or more, but it is the best guess. Okay. And there are a few cases in between where there's a bull trap above this that takes it to 885 and then you slam back down to 40. And so the other 2 cases out of 4 most likely are somewhere in between. The worst one is if you go to a $2 trillion market cap, which is around $100,000 Bitcoin, 105 or so. And then you start pulling back and you don't know, you're left not knowing, was that the end of the bull market or not? Or are we going to pull back the rest of 2024 and go up in 2025 for a double pump similar to 2016 and 2017? It was essentially a 2-year bull market. And so my least favorite scenario of what could happen is it races up to that psychological Bitcoin price would go up to close to 100K, and that would make Bitcoin almost exactly 2 trillion. So it's a double psychological number. And if it can't plow through there, then you're leaving with a big question mark. What the F am I going to do with my altcoins? Because you don't know if that's the top or not, and it could be. Because if you're in an early bull market, it's probably going to end early too. That's why it's my least favorite scenario, because it's a double psychological number, and that's, in my opinion, the 3rd most likely thing to happen. But if it happens, you're going to have a big hanging question mark for like 6 to 8 months. It's my least favorite scenario. So don't forget, the double psychological area threshold of about 100K or 2 trillion market cap of Bitcoin is what you don't want. If Bitcoin hits 100K, you want it to go above it and then land on 100K. You want to see it at 115, 120 before it pulls back. I promise you. Because you won't know what you're doing with your altcoins if it doesn't do it. And that's 3 of 4 most likely situations. And how this triangle will help you determine at any point which one's the most likely. Well, right now we have the strong trend behind it. We're still in the triangle. So honestly, the more bullish ones are most likely. The triple top is technically not even the most likely, even if we fall out of this, because when you go up a time frame to the weekly, look, the weekly would just be pulling back into a higher low. Look, watch, this is the weekly chart. Look, watch, just to hit this trend line, look, that is bullish. Look, bullish. Look how far down that is. 55K. So the reason why breaking below this green triangle does not automatically make a triple top the most likely is because you're falling into and haven't even tested the territory yet of a bullish weekly higher low. Now, what would happen if you break below this triangle, hit that higher low area somewhere around 55 or even 50 on a wick, but then the week closes up higher, and then you get rejected by this line. So remember the importance of that line that was created when Bitcoin was $7? If you go into a higher low, then form a lower high on the weekly, and then get rejected, that's when the triple top is the most likely. Even maybe not just the most likely, but it's actually it's probable if you get a clear rejection off of that line on a weekly time frame and fall off of it, then the triple top is not only the most likely, but it's probable. However, that takes time. Look, the weekly to come down, just drawing kind of natural stuff here, how long it would take. Boom, let's say it closes there and it wicks down and it closes there, comes back up another week, hangs out a week, then starts falling down. So you won't know until that candle right there, watch. Look how far away that is. That's a month and a half. So I think it would take at least a month, minimum, for it to be probably a triple top. In order for a probabilistic shape or whatever price is doing to happen. It would take, and that is supported with the idea that the weekly RSI and daily RSI, or the weekly RSI particularly, is up so high, it would needs to work its way out of that green zone, because any lower high is a higher high in price. It's got to work its way out of that green zone by price going sideways, and that accounts for that 45-day, and then it could come down. Am I making sense with that? And so as of now, by far the most probable is any dip is probably a good dip to buy. If you're seeing YouTubers say flash crash, it is not. We are still like 10K. Yeah, we are 10K higher than a weekly higher bullish higher low target. We're 10K above it. What flash crash? What are you smoking? You're smoking 1 hour, like 5-minute candles. Yeah, if you go to the 5-minute chart, you can maybe twist your eyes into seeing a flash crash. Like, okay, all right, how many candles on the, all right, let's go to the 1 hour. You have one bad candle right there. One 1 hour candle. How big was it? It was a 4.8% candle. Wow, that is not a flash crash. And it's pulling back into what? The last thing for new viewers and returning viewers on for YouTube. That's a confirmed lower high on Bitcoin on the daily. That's not bullish. But what is that? Is that still in higher low territory? Look. Low on a wick, higher low on a closure. It's still above that area. So it's not even, like, it's still easily a higher low, even though it's unconfirmed, but it's not even close to breaking that. Does that make sense? So this flash, how can you be crashing if you are in a bullish daily higher low territory? Like, what? So this is still pretty damn bullish. As long as you're in this triangle, you're bullish. Even when you fall out, you're still probably bullish, because you're probably falling down on the weekly into a higher low, somewhere in the low to mid 50s. And then Bitcoin would, quote unquote, have to, because of the weekly RSI, have to spend another month coming up, and then would need to get rejected around this mega monster massive quarter line. Remember that from the beginning when it's $7? It would take all that to happen. So hopefully this is valuable for you, particularly new viewers. If this interested you and you felt like you learned something, feel free to check out what the private YouTube community is by clicking the blue join button down below, or the Discord community, which offers a little bit more direct interaction with me through 2 different tiers. In the description section, I have some details there. You just got Timified worldwide. You got Timified worldwide. Stay safe. Please try to replicate this triangle. It has a high chance of helping you, particularly with your altcoin Pokemon card trading decisions. We'll see you next time.